I will make an opening statement and turn it over to Coach Shyatt. Rarely in this business as an athletic director do you get a chance to say thank you to a man and a family, Pam, Jeremy, Philip, Jeff, for committing 6 years of their life to Wyoming, committing the last 5 years to turning a basketball program that was in a very bad situation and turning it around with great pride that our fan base embraced, loved. And it's not always about winning and losing. In this case, Coach Shyatt and his staff did it the right way with great kids, and they won. So for that, I thank him, and we'll turn it over to Coach Larry Shyatt.
Well, first of all, you've already read a statement. I tried to put that together about 4 days ago. Per usual, my wife ripped it up, said it was too wordy, so thank God she could put it together, and it was about as well said as I can think. And also, I think I first should thank the media, because I only asked of Robert and you 2 things when I came back, and I appreciate it. I said, please change my grammar so Mama Shy doesn't get pissed off. And then second of all, never ever throw any of these kids under the bus. You can throw me anytime you want, and you didn't, and I appreciate that, both of you especially. I don't have a whole lot of comments because you read them, and if I started to read them, so let's roll with the questions.
Question. Where you said you started, compiling the statement about 4 days ago, but was this something that you had thought long and hard about as the season had progressed, or even before the season, or how did the time frame go with this decision?
Well, I've thought about it for a long time. When you're a veteran coach, at least growing up in the era I did, you dream of being able to walk out on your own terms, somewhat proud, somewhat respectful, and to be able to, in my case, take care of an entire staff, because we have 3 guys they're going to be tremendous head coaches. And so I think about it all the time once I returned here, in particular after we won the championship. I got to tell you, last spring, this time last year, if you're an older coach who grew up in the coaching profession as I did, there was a time when it is like the beer commercial, it didn't get better than that. We had 6 seniors all graduate on time. We had a first rounder that was never recruited by anyone in the country and developed and improved by the Lakers, drafted. Last but not least, we won a championship, which happens about once every 50 years here. So I was appreciative. I knew that wasn't the right time with a senior that I truly loved, and 6 freshmen and 6 sophomores. That was not the time to just run. And but as the season wore on, there were some signs that I could tell visibly. In particular, I think after some of the biggest wins, the big road wins at CSU, at New Mexico State, at Denver, and beat them in 12 years. And I didn't feel any different when I called Pam after the game. Those were signals. But I gotta tell you, we feel good about this. I don't know what the next step is. I know that she's not gonna let me use the word ever retired. I'm not gonna go home and play shuffleboard. So something's out there. The best news for me selfishly is this guy and this school have a great group of young guys, a great group of coaches. They are going to do a marvelous job, hopefully another championship in a few years when they gather their oats. We just appreciate everybody we've had a chance to rub elbows with these 5 years. And I should say 6 years. Pretty long answer, huh?
Coach, we had talked maybe about a month and a half ago, and you said that you would know when you go to practice and maybe you don't have that fire anymore. Was there a certain time where you started to sense that late in the season?
No, I love practice. There were some times if I'd have seen you after games. I've never been a game guy. But no, I never lost the passion, and I love working with these guys. And they're my kind of guys, because I'm not in vogue with college basketball right now. And this is going to be a positive message today, so I'm not going to go down that road. That's for another day. But I love having young people on their first try, whether it's the 5 or 6 transfers we got, all of whom were academically qualified out of high school but one, all of whom graduated, and they're here to improve, to develop, and try, like everybody else, to win a championship. And so I loved every moment of this season. It was just some other things that I thought it's time, and as I said, to be able to step aside, pass the baton. I can't tell you what a feeling that is. My wife might not be too much happy with the money we're leaving on the table, but I gotta tell you, that's a good feeling. And if you coached in the days and age that we started in, it's about the nicest thing you can do. You're looking at a guy that was a proud and happy assistant coach for 32 years. I've only been a head coach 11.
Larry, what was it like when you told the team? What was the emotions like, and what are you most proud of in your situation?
First of all, it was at 8 this morning, so half of them were damn near asleep. We have mandatory breakfast, so it probably was good timing. They didn't say a lot. I did let them read Pam's statement because I thought that capsulized what we were doing, and I made sure they knew the reason for this, simply put, is that you will be in a stable position for 5 years. These coaches will be in a stable position for 5 years. And you know what? I liked running the table in Vegas, and so did some of the guys here. So let's see you do it again. The best moment in coaching, there's no question. I know the 2 national championships were utterly fantastic. 50, 60,000 people, streamers coming down, and my family with me. But I gotta tell you, last year in Vegas, nothing compared. Not who. I guess you have to know who you are and who they are. Once you figure that out in coaching, who you are and who they are, it's the most gratifying feeling I've ever had.
Coach, have you had a chance to kind of think back of all the things you've accomplished here, or is that something that might hit you in the next couple weeks or so?
Well, I'm glad you asked it that way, because there's somebody sitting to my left that wanted to know if somebody could win a couple days ago. And I said, no, nobody could win here. I couldn't win here. No guy can win. And I almost find it humorous when I read about coaches or hear coaches talk about my kids, my team. We all serve Wyoming. And when the kids and the coaches and the managers and the secretary and the whole basketball family is pulling in the same direction, it's like the movie Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there, you got a chance. Yeah, you got a chance then. And that's what we had. And I'll have time to reflect. You know, she's worried that I'll have too much time.
Coach, you talked before about how tough it was, when you left Clemson, just the way that went out, and the other coaches in your profession, how them getting fired and stuff. How different is this, getting a chance to kind of go on your own terms?
Well, I talked to Tom long and hard for the last weeks about just thinking about this, and that really was a stimulus. I'm proud that we came back. We had some unfinished business, like Pam wrote, and not everything went right. I think you find out you appreciate the really good times when you fought through some difficult times. But Tom questioned, as he should, do you have it? Do you still have that passion? You can't coach anywhere unless you have it. No, there's no question I had that passion, but to leave the program with the people we have in place and the young players we have, there's always going to be a new player. I feel so bad for Austin Mueller and his family right now, but they're going to get it worked out. And you're always going to have a senior, and Jason McManaman's going to hold the torch next year and have a great year. That's always gonna happen, but the timing of this couldn't be better for everybody, at least in my humble estimation.
You mentioned unfinished business. Did you finish the business? Did you feel like, as you sit here today, that the business has been finished? And I guess you kept referring to maybe this is jumping the gun, that the coach is in place. Is everything in place for your successor, or is this a little too early to ask that right now?
Well, that's the boss in charge, but I most definitely have talked for months about how important it was to win that championship with everybody pulling their wagon. And the people we have in this program, like when we hired Alan and Scott and Jeremy, we didn't hire a salesman and a poacher. We hired 3 coaches, and they are gonna be terrific head coaches. And we have young people in the program that are going to be, because they've learned the right way, and they're not trying to take shortcuts. So I'm sure Tom will answer the question in an hour, and I am very comfortable with the future of Cowboy basketball.
Coach, have you talked to any of the other Mountain West coaches about your decision yet? And you've kind of been Papa Shy, the elder statesman for the coaches. Do you see a coach kind of filling that role in the conference now?
Well, Fisher's older than me. I remind him of that every other day when we talk. I haven't talked to any of the coaches in the last couple of days, but I think there's some of them that I'm very close with that had an idea. You know, I got a lot of friends that think I'm nuts to leave that kind of money on the table, but they, you know, there's an old expression, you don't know what you don't know. And this is good for our family.